Oh, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Aditi. Lovely to see you. I'm so happy and excited that you're joining me. And this is the first masterclass that I've done of this kind. So please bear with me. I'm a little bit nervous, but I keep telling myself that I'm also excited. And you'll see why when we go through all the mindset stuff, that really what we tell our minds is so important because it responds to everything we tell it. So my name's Rebecca, and I'm going to be leading this Becoming Magnetic Masterclass. So if we know each other or we worked together before, then it's really lovely to have you here. Feel free to say hi in the chat box where you're from. And if you're new to my world, then welcome. And it's really lovely to connect with you. And again, just feel free to, introduce yourself in the chat and where you're from. So hopefully, can everybody just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen? Can you see what I'm sharing with you? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Brilliant. Okay. So the masterclass, it will take about 40 or 45 minutes or so of me just kind of giving you some content. And then at the end, there is the opportunity to ask me some questions. And I will be talking about an upcoming group program at the end. If that isn't for you, that's totally fine. I really hope that you get something out of the masterclass anyway. But obviously, if you want to stay in my world and think about working together, then, I'll kind of talk a little bit about that program at the end. So what's it all about? So really this masterclass is for a combination of looking at how our health and well-being affects our ability to manifest and our vibration. And so I'm going to be covering 5 steps to improving your health and wellness so that you can raise your vibration and you can manifest your dream life with ease on autopilot. So really just want you to get the most out of today. This really could change your life profoundly. Some of the people that are in here, like I have worked with before, and hopefully they'll be testament to the fact that it really can be quite life-changing, this work. So, and what I'm going to talk about may lead you onto a path to healing that you maybe haven't heard people talk about in that particular way. So, is this masterclass for you? So really it's for you if you are somebody who is soul aligned and you understand that there is a mind-body connection. You're open to that idea, to the fact that your mood, your ailments can be linked to deep past wounds. And when I'm talking about wounds, I'm not necessarily talking about like trauma with a capital T. These things can just be really simple events that have happened in our past. And it's all about the interpretation of the event. It's all about how the mind creates a meaning around it. And it's usually happening when we're children. So you're ready to try the deep inner work, the healing, and you're committed to doing the work involved. And you understand that the value in up-leveling you will allow you to manifest the best life possible that you could ever imagine. So maybe you know about law of attraction and you're doing all the mindset work, but sometimes you question it and you maybe look at other people and you maybe think, well, why do I see everybody else having success, but maybe I'm not quite where I want to be? Maybe you're the kind of person that does a lot of audiobooks or meditations, but for some reason you're doing all of these mindset things, but it's just not falling into place for some reason. You're very committed to this work, but you often feel like something knocks you back. And that, in a way, is worse, right? When you know that something is possible for you, but you just feel very frustrated. The way I would describe my experience was very much climbing up a mountain, and then these boulders would keep coming down, and I just feel like I was almost going further back down the mountain than when I started. But you know that you have this potential inside you and you're not ready to give up and you want to find a better way. So by the end of this masterclass, You will be able to let go of the things that waste your time, your energy, your money. Maybe it's kind of hours of talk therapy, going over lots of old stories, but never quite getting to the root of the problem. It might be trial and error of different medications or supplements. Maybe spending time looking at Dr. Google, trying to find the answers to your issues, and maybe spending hours and hours, sitting in a doctor's surgery or trying to get through on the phone, where, of course, I come from an NHS background, and I completely appreciate that we do need medicine in our lives at times, but perhaps you just feel like you're never actually getting to the root of the problem. And so really this is about moving forwards without needing those things. So this may just be the guidance you need to understand what's going on with you, so you can finally free yourself and heal yourself once for all, raise your vibration and manifest with ease. It is estimated that 75% of all chronic ailments are functional rather than organic. So understanding our minds is absolutely essential if we want to take back control. I just found that number staggering, like 75%. Can you imagine if everybody healed themselves rather than putting a strain on the NHS with all of these ailments? So the subconscious mind loves to distract us away. And if you're somebody that has experienced self-sabotage, it really does love to distract us from the unfamiliar. So I really recommend do your best to stay really present, and just, make time, make some notes. And then at the end, we'll go through any questions that you might have at the end of the masterclass. And if you stay to the end, then there will be a very special gift for you at the end of the masterclass. So who am I? For those of you that don't know me, you may be wondering, like, well, who is she and what experience does she have? So people often used to joke. So my friends used to joke about me and say, like, honestly, is there anything that you haven't done? And I used to really hate myself for that. But now, like, I fully embrace this part of me. For those of you that understand human design, and I will talk a little bit about that later on, I'm what's known as a 3-5 generator, and I'm here to learn through trial and error and find out what works and what doesn't, and share it with you so that you can improve your life. And so I have 22, maybe more years in healthcare. I've worked both in the NHS and private sector. I have worked clinically and in medical sales settings. I definitely went from job to job. I was like, oh, like, now I've mastered this. Now I want to do something else. I want to do something else. And I eventually came back to the NHS, and I completed a postgrad diploma as an anaesthesia associate. So I was putting people to sleep for their operations under the supervision of a consultant anaesthetist. And really that was the highest level that I could go with my career without going into medicine itself. And basically for me, what happened was my health was really suffering throughout that time. I didn't really understand why, but I had lots of these ailments. I spent a lot of hours in doctor's surgeries. And basically, after I'd done my training as an anaesthesia associate, I then became pregnant with my son. And this is when everything kind of came to a bit of a head. And I was diagnosed with POTS syndrome. And I actually spent most of my pregnancy completely housebound at home. I couldn't even walk down to the end of my street. And I was really, really unwell. I had hyperemesis. I was really, really needing hospitalization, and everything just sort of came to a head. Not only did my physical symptoms come to a head, but also my anxiety and depression and mood really came to a head. And a lot of my past events from my life came to light, things that I'd kind of buried away and thought I dealt with, that they sort of came to a bit of a head. And so when COVID happened, I decided that I wasn't in a fit state to go back to work. I didn't want to put on my colleagues who were dealing with, seriously ill patients. And in the role that I was in, I knew that I was going to be thrown into the intensive care environment, literally, putting tubes in patients and ventilating them and all of that stuff. And I just didn't feel I was mentally or physically well enough to go back. So it's then that I decided to take a grip on things for myself, because I knew that I had to help myself. And this is then when I went into sleep. I decided to become a certified sleep consultant and started to work for myself. And I've helped over 700 clients now. It's been a really successful business. I achieved about £80,000 just in my first year. And you can see how this link between health and manifestation kind of comes together, in that as the minute I started to heal myself, all the abundance and wealth kind of came together. And once I kind of got into that sleep business and everything was going really well, I became very much passionate about personal development and growth. And that's when I became a certified mindset coach, using all of these subconscious tools. The one that was the most profound was this rapid transformational therapy. Now, this for me is the ultimate tool in my bag, and has changed my life and many of the clients that I've worked with. I've spent thousands of hours and lots of money on personal development in the worlds of manifestation, mindset, energetics, human design, money mindset, wealth, and property investing. So I think it's really kind of all of these things that I'm now pulling together that provides you with this kind of unique coaching, therapy, and mentoring approach. And what I'm doing now is helping my clients achieve the same, so that they can finally climb up the ladder without being knocked down by their ailments or their limiting beliefs. And this is where I see you. I am like you. I understand what it's like to feel triggered by other people, to maybe think, oh, like they're doing really well, or but why aren't I? Or to maybe look at yourself and wonder why you're in the state that you're in, or having the issues that you're having. And so, as I explained just now, I really didn't have, although I knew I was wanting to support people and look after people in the NHS, I didn't often feel, I just felt like something was missing. I just felt not quite fulfilled, really. And I was just going through the motions. Sometimes things, the PMDD diagnosis. So that's, for those of you that don't know, this is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is like PMS on steroids. I was literally about ready to stab my husband. It was really, really bad. And I would spend like 2 weeks out of the month where I just literally didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I literally, for 3 days, I wouldn't speak to anyone. I would just lock myself away. And so all of these anxious thoughts, all of these deep emotions, everything had this knock-on effect to where I was, living my life out. And so those habits, they kept sabotaging me as I kept trying to reach my goals. And I would often commit to things, and then because I felt really rubbish, I would back out later and feel really guilty and shameful about myself, which of course, if you understand, about the scale of consciousness, like these are all of the lower frequencies for manifestation. The other thing is, I think it's worth saying, is I often felt like my feelings were too deep for other people to understand. Like this was very much me on my own. And often I think we forget that we are all very similar. Often we are experiencing the same things, but just in different ways, in different guises. So when I was told by my doctor that PMDD was not curable and that I would just have to learn to manage my symptoms, and similarly with POTS syndrome, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, again, it was like, well, this is just something you've got to live with, and you've just got to find a way to get on with it. And this is where I decided to take the matters into my own hands. There was lots of things going on. Like I said, I became a parent. Very close relatives of mine passed away 2 days after my son was born. And I really felt broken, And so often I think when we feel so messy, we just sometimes think like it's just too much. I'm just too much of a mess. I've got too much history. Like I can't be fixed. The fact is you can be. And I took that my life into my own hands. I realized no one was coming to save me. And I found this pathway to fulfillment, to purpose, to manifesting with ease, and feeling healthy and in flow and alignment. And I just think the irony, of working in the health service for so many years, and yet I just didn't know, where I was going. But yeah, fast forward to today, I'm off antidepressants, I make healthy food choices easily, I sleep better, my hormones, they no longer affect me in the same way. So I no longer have like rage or outbursts or anxiety or depression. Naturally, I still get like nervous about big events and things like today, but it's really moving away from those massive tsunamis of feelings and emotions that were, knocking me back from manifesting what I really wanted in my life. So yeah, and I've dealt with childhood traumas, now have self-confidence and trust and just inner knowing. And it's this self-love and acceptance of ourselves. And as a result, just living this fulfilled, aligned, magical lifestyle and just creating wealth and abundance, which is, of course, the byproduct of who we are inside. So I would really love for you to take a moment. You can tell me in the comments if you want, but just take a moment to think about, like, what are the things that hold you back? What are the things that keep you from feeling high vibe and manifesting your dreams into reality? What are the health struggles maybe? Is it sleep? Is it eating? Is it emotional eating patterns? Is it struggling to keep to a regime? Is it your confidence that's maybe stopping you from taking action? What are the things that you feel hold you back? And just take a moment to really lean into that. And it's okay if you don't feel like you want to share, but just give yourself that time. Okay. So thank you for sharing, Aditi. So hypothyroid, constant fatigue, emotional eating as a result. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like this cycle, isn't it? Where all these other symptoms play out, and feed into that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Fatigue, chronic pain, potential fibromyalgia. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing how many of us suffer with confidence. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. So now I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about how this cycle works. So the way our minds work, thanks Jay for sharing, lack of sleep times. Yeah, feeling overwhelmed, staying on focus. Yes, definitely overwhelm is a big one. Now, because of the world we live in, we're being bombarded with tech and social media and all the things. So again, that is something that can be overcome through the power of the mind, through telling ourselves a different story. So first comes the thought. Okay, so we have a thought in our mind and we have thousands of thoughts a day. Okay, like thousands. And some of them are conscious, but the majority of them are subconscious. Okay, they are about 95% of what we do is controlled by our subconscious mind. So the thought comes, the thought creates a feeling and an emotion, and those feelings will affect the way we act. So the way we act out in our lives. And as a result, will affect our behaviors and our habits and the way our life is actually mapping out right now. So everything that you see in your world right now is being run by your subconscious mind, the way your thought processes have been conditioned, usually through childhood. So usually through 0 to 7 years is when we start to form these beliefs and have these thoughts about ourselves at a deep subconscious level. So maybe you might be thinking, if I could just stick to the meditations and do my affirmations, and then you don't, and then you beat yourself up afterwards. Or maybe you start a diet and then you binge eat, and later you just feel really terrible for it. Or maybe you commit to an exercise routine, and the classic one is in January, people sign up to the gym and they go for about a few weeks, and then you literally see the gym's empty come February. And the reason for this is all to do with the subconscious programming. So your issues that you have are not necessarily your problems. Your issues are not the actual problem. They are the symptom of the problem lying underneath in the subconscious mind. And, you're already achieving amazing things in your life, but maybe it's just this one thing that you haven't overcome, and it's not your fault that you're feeling this way. It's just that the issue hasn't been addressed at a subconscious level. So while we can try and address things at a conscious thinking mind level, but very often it's buried deep in the subconscious. And like I said, it's 95% of what you think, how you act, feel, behave. And that's the thing that's calling the shots. So you might be wondering now, what is going on at a deeper level for you? And how do I go about finding the root of my pain or my issue, my self-sabotage? And the mind and body are so closely linked, okay, that the body literally responds in its physiology to the words and images we present to it. So, if you're getting stressed and you're telling yourself, I'm so stressed, I've got so much on, your body is literally responding physiologically inside your body. And I want to just do a little exercise with you now, just to show you how powerful your mind is. It is more powerful than any drug you will ever take, any placebo drug that you'll ever take. So I want you to now just close your eyes. Just take a deep breath in and out, and just ground yourself into your seat there, or whether you're laying down. And I want you to just see in your mind's eye that you're sitting in your kitchen. And I want you to now imagine that you're holding a fresh lemon, like a Sicilian, beautiful, massive lemon. And it's the biggest, juiciest lemon that you have ever seen. And you can see the yellow color. You can smell the citrus aroma, the waxy skin. You can feel that on your fingers. And then I want you to now see yourself pick up a knife and cut down into that lemon through the plump flesh. And as you cut down, the juices are flowing out, and you pick it up and you can smell that lemony, that citrus aroma of the lemon. And you put this lemon to your mouth and you take a big, juicy bite. And I want you to imagine the smell and the sour, citrusy taste. And now you'll probably start to notice that you have more than likely begun to salivate. Yeah. And your mind is responding to an image that you have presented to it, even though it isn't actually there in front of you. And this is such a powerful way to realize that your body is responding to the words you tell it and the images that you present to it every single moment of every single day. So if you hold a belief or an image of feeling unworthy or lacking confidence or whatever that image is, your body will respond accordingly. So whenever you're ready, you can just open your eyes. Such a powerful exercise. But like I said, you know, that lemon is not even in front of you. And yet your mind is telling you it is. And this is the power of our mind and body. And you can see now the mind-body connection is so important. It's so valuable. So I'm going to speak to you a little bit now about a few examples of some clients that have come to me with issues, just to give you an idea of the kind of things that come up. So these are all anonymized names, by the way. But so I'm going to say Helen, she came to me with emotional eating habits. So she came because she was actually restricting herself. So she was like really sort of dieting, strictly following exercise regimes. And then she would maybe go to an event, maybe a party or Christmas or Easter or like whatever it might be. And then she would suddenly go, it's okay. Like, I'm just going to go for it. And then she would just get out of control and binge. You know, it's that voice saying to her, it's fine, you can do this. And how this was affecting her was not just, you know, in relation to the food, this was affecting her relationship with herself. She hated her body. She had low confidence, low self-esteem. She would get anxious about going out for social events, like, how do I look? What are people going to think about me? Instead of just enjoying life. We get one life, you know, you don't want to spend your time wasting feeling like this. She would hold back on social media. She had her own business and it was affecting her income, her relationship with her partner, because she was like negative. She was giving herself negative self-talk in front of her partner. And that is the least attractive quality in a partner, right? If you hear them talking negatively about themselves. She was miserable. She just felt like she was missing out, and her mood was low. And then, of course, after she binged, the very, very low frequency emotions of guilt and shame. And again, you can see how this maps out to your manifestations, because the lower frequencies will not attract what it is that you want. We did an RTT and coaching experience together. And what this revealed at a subconscious level was beliefs that she wasn't good enough, or she couldn't be accepted unless she looked a certain way. Most of us have been raised with magazines and stuff that we see people looking a certain way. We believe that we have to in order to fit in. And she had this belief she couldn't trust herself. That was another belief that came through from one of her memories. And also that she wasn't lovable. And now she's had like 1 to 3 sessions. She's completely transformed. She knows deeply that she's enough. She trusts herself to take care of her body. She's eating healthily, like, and choosing those healthy options easily. When she's full, she just leaves what's on her plate. You know, how many of us have been taught, like, eat up, like your plate is like, you know, starving children in Africa, you must eat what's on your plate. But again, this is all conditioning that we've been taught to do as children. And now she knows that she's totally lovable. She goes out to social events completely confident and just enjoys herself, right? Which is what we're here to do. And of course, and from a manifestation point of view, she is now able to show up confidently in her business and manifesting dream clients and income as a result. So this is where I'm talking about this health and wealth and manifestation kind of overlap. I definitely see it time and time again. Again, another story here. This is Paula. She came to me with polycystic ovary syndrome. She had symptoms of fatigue, low energy. Again, this is like a hormonal issue here. Zero sex drive, eating really poorly. Her skin was affected, her hair, she had facial hair growth. and her menstrual cycle was absent. Actually, by the time when she actually came to me, it was completely absent, and it had been for a good, I think, 4 or 5 months. Again, we did some RTT, and we discovered a deep subconscious belief of feeling unworthy. Now, this, you're like, how does this work, Rebecca? Like, how does this relate to the problems that she was having? But what this was a belief that she was unworthy to be a parent. And her body had responded by protecting her or others. And really, that's our job. Our mind's number one job is to protect us, to keep us safe, is to keep us alive. So it's always going to do what it thinks is in your best interest. And so we went back to the root cause. We rewired her subconscious mind. She listened to a recording for 21 days. The recording is just 10 to 15 minutes. And within 6 weeks, her periods came back and they were normal and they were easy. And she had more vibrant energy to do all the things instead of just surviving and dragging herself through the days. Her and her partner intimately reconnected again. And she had glowing skin and strong hair. The other thing I didn't put in this presentation, but I really want to share with you because I couldn't, literally, excuse the pun, but blew my mind yesterday, is I worked with a lady who she's in her 40s and she struggled with another hormone related issue. And it was to do with her pituitary gland. She had a benign tumor which had been bleeding. The bleeding had actually stopped, but as a result of this tumor, her hormones were all over the place. She'd got no energy, very poor sleep. She felt very weak. She had weak bones. And not only that, but from like a mental point of view, she was struggling to express herself authentically. She kept saying to me, like, I feel like my throat's closed. I don't like public speaking. And she was just very conscious of, not being able to confidently express what she wanted to say. And this lady's belief had been formed when she was about 7 years old. And I'll share with you one of her scenes or memories that came up. And it was, and not everybody's scene is this dramatic, by the way, but she was actually, and trigger warning, by the way, here with physical abuse, but her neighbor, she was growing up, she was 7 years old, she'd been playing roller skating outside, and this boy, 14-year-old boy, who was a bit of a thug, like dealing in drugs and like just really an unpleasant character from the neighborhood, basically saw her singing and enjoying herself and having fun, and he wanted to keep her down, and he actually grabbed her by the throat, and she blacked out for a few moments. When she woke up, there was lots of people, her friends, family around her. But the belief that she formed was that as a result of this event, she needed to keep herself small, inverted commas. And every time she moved towards success, so every time something good was happening, she would become unwell. She was lethargic, her ailments would kick in. And so we healed this belief, and we've given her new and empowering beliefs of being strong, rather than her belief that I need to know that I am weak, was the belief that was also there. And we've instructed her mind to work at healing everything back to its original state when she was born. And so I want to share that with you. There's not always a capital T trauma like there is in this case. Sometimes it's as simple as I was baking a cake with my grandma took the cake mixture off me, and in that moment I believed I wasn't good enough, and that's how simple it can be. It's not necessarily the event, it's the interpretation. So just a reminder again that the mind and body, they're so closely linked in the way that we respond. Our bodies respond to the physiology, to the words and images we present to it. So always remember that, lemon. And really what it comes down to is that it will be one of 4 beliefs. Really, when it comes down to it, no matter what your background, what the event was, what the situation was, what your upbringing was, it normally comes down to, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm different, or it's not available to me. And those are the 4 things usually that come up. And so it's all about clearing out the basement, clearing those beliefs that are causing you the heaviness, the cluttering, the pain, the suffering, whatever your issues are. It's about clearing that at a deep subconscious level. So if you want to manifest a life of health and wellness, which I'm sure you do because you're here, with purpose and consistent results, then these next 5 steps will bring you some clarity so that you can move past these issues that hold you back. So I've created my wiser technique. So these are the 5 steps. So it's awareness of triggers and behaviors, and I'm going to go into each one individually. So it's having the awareness is the first step to any healing. It's like, just get curious of yourself. Individual ownership of your healing and growth. Self-love of your inner child. And erasing and understanding those outdated childhood beliefs. And then reframing and rewiring them with new ones. So when we think about awareness, really, it's like I said, just get curious. Like, awareness is the first step to your healing and growth. Like, what are the patterns in your life? How are they playing out in your life? Who triggers you? What triggers you? Why do they trigger you? You know, if you're looking at somebody on social media and you think, God, you irritate me so much, like, what is it that triggers you about them? What is it they do or don't do that makes you feel this way? And what sort of events or situations make you feel misaligned? And then how are these things affecting you and holding you back from manifesting your dream life? So when you think about what triggers you, ask yourself, and this must mean what? And this means what? And just keep going. And this must mean what? And there at the very bottom will be the belief that needs to be healed. So just keep asking yourself, what does this mean? So step 2, really, like I said earlier, this is all about this realization that no one was coming to save me, right? We all need to take ownership. I needed to move myself from a victim state into an empowered state. And this is so important because nobody else can do this for us. In recognizing this is where we become more empowered. Blaming others, looking outside of ourselves will only reflect the misery back to us. We can't control what's out there. What we can control is us, our thoughts. That's the thing that we can do something about. So telling yourself that you are in control of your own thoughts is so empowering, because the more you dialogue with your mind about what you do want rather than what you don't want, is going to move you towards your manifestations. And it's so easy to be sucked into those conversations, like gossip conversations or people having a moan or a groan, you know, but just let that go over you. Focus on yourself. And that's all any of us can do, is do the inner work ourselves. And it takes time and practice. You know, the mind, it's like a muscle, and we need to exercise it regularly in order to strengthen it. So self-love of your inner child, and self-love really doesn't need to be in a conceited way. Okay, this is the way in which we attract more love and abundance into our lives. So talking about this scale of consciousness, if you want to read more about that, you just Google Dr. David Hawkins, and you'll find the scale. It's like a frequency of all the different emotions. And of course, one of the highest ones is love. The highest frequencies of all is love. And so if we can love ourselves more and show compassion and kindness to ourselves, then we can free ourselves from many of those lower frequency vibrations. So by talking to our younger self, we can bring compassion and acceptance to ourselves. So something that can be a really helpful practice is to take a photo of you as a child. Find a photo of you as a child and stick it on your mirror and ask them every day, like, what does she or he, what do you need to hear today? How are you talking to them? And are you talking to them with compassion, or are you telling yourself you're a complete idiot? You know, what does that child need to hear? And how would how would you talk to your own children if you have children? Or if you don't have children, how would you talk to nephews, nieces? Or if you don't have nephews, nieces, how would you talk to your dog? You know, it's really just being mindful, like you wouldn't talk to them in the same way as sometimes how we talk to ourselves. And so during hypnosis, this is one of the powerful tools that we use in hypnotherapy and subconscious mindset work because it is so incredibly powerful. And when we're in hypnosis, we are in a more relaxed brainwave state. Okay, this is where hypnosis is different to conscious thinking. This is how we access the subconscious mind because we're in a different brainwave state, very similar to what we're in when we're children, right? And this is why when we're children, we're like a sponge and we're literally absorbing all of the conditioning and all the beliefs that we're forming about ourselves. But this is why in hypnosis, because you're in this relaxed state, the inner child work is so much more impactful than at the conscious thinking level. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, my conscious thoughts are so positive, but my unconscious thoughts are really mean towards myself. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we can actually be doing all the mindset work. We can be doing everything that we know that we need to be doing, using all the tools, but that inner voice for some reason is very mean to ourselves. And that's where, accessing at a subconscious level is really powerful. So the next step is to erase and understand the outdated childhood beliefs. So this is where, as children, we're often very confused by situations, okay? And it's the interpretation of the event, not the event itself, that causes us to form a belief about ourselves. And this is where, identifying them, where they first started through regression in RTT hypnotherapy comes into play. This is what makes it so unique. And we get to the root cause rapidly, usually in 1 to 3 sessions. And you can understand why you feel, act, behave in a certain way. And that's where you rapidly find the freedom from those issues. So looking at those outdated beliefs through your adult eyes, you can see how these affect you now in your life. Everything comes to make sense. And we can reframe those beliefs. We can look at them through adult eyes and say, okay, you were just a child. Now you're an adult now. You are the authority now. And you can choose to let go of them so that you can find freedom and you can go on to live a fulfilled and happy life. Yeah. Jay, my conscious thoughts used to be very destructive to myself. And are now so positive, I don't allow negative thoughts in. Yeah, absolutely. And this is like after an RTT session, right? So thank you for sharing that. And finally, so the final step then, once we've identified the cause, we then go on to replace the beliefs with more powerful ones that do serve us, ones that you get to choose, like you get to choose what they are. Whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to have, like it's all possible for you. The only thing that holds us back is our mind. So once we've identified the root cause, the next step is we rewire the subconscious mind with phenomenal, empowering beliefs that serve you. And this is literally just for 21 days. So neuroplasticity works by repetition. So it's just like learning to ride a bike. You have to do things through repetition. And so 21 days, listen to a 15-minute recording, and that will rewire the neural pathways in the brain to form new beliefs about yourself. So if your belief was, I'm not good enough, then the new beliefs are going to be rewired so that you firmly know with absolute conviction that you are enough, just as you are. And you no longer compare yourself to people. You can have that deep knowing that you're enough. You show up more powerfully. You express yourself freely. You can manifest from a place of high frequency. And you can be free of your ailments. And this is really, where the two come together. Those ailments that are perhaps there to keep you safe, free from anxiety. You can be free from depression, like whatever that thing is that you feel is holding you back, be it health related, be it confidence, self-sabotage, whatever it is. This is where we rewire in what it is that you do want. And your mind responds to the words and images you tell it. Just remember that lemon. So telling it a brand new story is the path to freedom, and just remembering that your mind does what you tell it to do. It responds to what you tell it. Okay. Drink. So having been through all this myself and sharing my own perspective of this, as I said before, I'm going to talk a little bit about my program. If it's not for you, then totally no problem. I really hope that you have gained something helpful out of this masterclass today, even if it's just simple mindset tools of dialoguing with your mind and just being aware of that mind-body connection. But because of the experiences I've had, I have this really deep sense of responsibility to share my program with you. And this is a brand new program. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be an 8-week coaching and RTT package to change your health habits for good, raise your vibration, and manifest with ease. And this really is where we work together to do the last 2 steps of the wiser technique. And this is what I can help you release to get to the experience of freedom and transformation for yourself. So the Soul Aligned Revolution, it's a transformational package that includes a detailed welcome intake questionnaire. And you might be thinking, well, why is she listing that? But the reason why that's important is that everybody's issues are going to be different. So really, this is all about identifying your healthy, healed version, the version that you want to step into. So that's individualized, and I read each one to really get to know you and what it is that you're looking for. You will receive 2 phenomenal RTT sessions, so you can get to the root cause of your self-sabotage, your eating habits and behaviors, and heal them for good. Now, those RTT sessions, at the moment, they're going to be one-to-one. And so that will be a 2-hour RTT session with me, where we release anything of your choosing to rewire your subconscious mind. And so you will get your own individual hypnosis recording that will be for your rewiring process, for your subconscious mind to make healthy choices or create new and empowering habits. So that will all be individualized. You will then get 2 success follow-ups as well. And really that's to reflect on your incredible transformation and coach you through on your next steps. The coaching calls are going to be group coaching. Now, this is each call is going to be 90 minutes. And they take place every couple of weeks to really discuss progress, how you're going with your RTT, like what are you noticing coming up, and to work on areas like confidence, self-esteem, achieving your goals, coping strategies, manifestation techniques. And there will be a few modules that you can work through as well around mindset and manifestation. So I will be using on those calls lots of other techniques, so neurolinguistic programming, neuroenergetic encoding, emotional freedom techniques, which you may have heard as tapping. And so you can learn to integrate these tools into your day-to-day life for life. So they're tools you can take away with you. You'll then also get 8 weeks of Voxer support. So Voxer is an app which you can voice message, or it's a bit like WhatsApp, basically. So you can write messages or voice note. And really that is so that you feel 100% supported on this journey of self-discovery. There will be a private Facebook group, which is really a safe space to feel free to open up and share your experiences. And honestly, with the group, with the Facebook group and the group coaching, I myself have done both one-to-one and group coaching. I think there's something for everybody in both, but I think the great thing with group coaching is that you really do learn from other people. You know, there may be a question in there that you just hadn't thought about. And so I definitely find that, you know, in that group setting, it can be very, very powerful and supportive as you go through this experience. And finally, there will be some masterclasses. So there's going to be some experts talking about functional nutrition and medicine, functional medicine. So they can support you with the nutritional side, which of course becomes so easy when you've had RTT. If that's something you want to work on, you can follow all of that advice so easily. And I will be giving a masterclass on sleep, so how to achieve really healthy sleep. If it's a real problem for you, sleep, then I would recommend doing RTT around that. And we will have somebody coming to talk about human design, which is really so that you can gain wisdom from different perspectives and become more in alignment with your authentic you. So human design is all about having your own personal blueprint. It's a combination of astrology, Kabbalah, I Ching, lots of different kind of modalities pulled together, but we all have our own unique human design. And there's going to be, Aditi knows all about it. It's really, really great. So there's going to be somebody come and talk to you about how you can become more in alignment with yourself. So it's very, very individualized process. So all of this is the first time I've run it. This is a beta launch. I'm really excited that you're here. And it will be for an investment of 1,555 for all of that. Okay. If you join now or before the 1st of August, there is an early bird pricing and some bonuses for joining early. So the early bird price is 1,111. So you save over £400 by booking early. And you will also get these 2 bonuses. So you will get one-to-one 90-minute transformational coaching, again, using all the subconscious tools. So perhaps, you know, you really want to focus on something very specific. We can cover that on a one-to-one coaching call. The value of that is normally 222. So again, really worth hopping onto the early bird pricing. Plus you will get a transformational hypnosis recording of your choice from my shop. And there's a range of different hypnosis depending on what it is that you want to work on. So again, do take action quickly because this is only available till the 1st of August. And so here I just wanted to share with you a few testimonials. Really, these are clients that you know, have come to me with similar sort of related issues, perhaps holding themselves back from manifesting. RTT marked a before and after on my path. Now more than ever, I have certainty everything in life is possible. In one powerful session, she's helped me to enter my subconscious mind, release limiting beliefs that no longer serve me, stepping into her highest luminous self. And again, it's like people knowing that they have these blocks holding them back in such a short time. The blocks are completely dissolved through RTT and the coaching. and here this person had some amazing manifestations. She literally got a new job with a massive pay rise, and all these other things started appearing in her life. We'd worked on abundance for her. She got blocks to wealth, and so we worked on the belief around it being available to her, because she didn't believe it was available. So we've reached the end. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you all, each and every one of you. I would love to open up the chat box, or if you want to, you can raise your hand to speak on the microphone if you do have any. Finally, just to say, if you feel like any of this could be you, and you would like to chat more with me, but perhaps you don't feel comfortable to share things in the group, then you can book a free discovery call with me. I'm just going to pop the link in the chat for you now. Bear with me a second. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in there for you. So you can book a 20-minute call. We'll have a bit of a chat, talk through maybe what your triggers are, have a chat about your own personal situation. And really, I just want you to know that it is all waiting for you. You just need to take that first step. It's just taking ownership of your healing journey. And I will guide you to climb that ladder with ease up to your dreams, to a life that is fulfilled and happy. So I'm going to just answer your questions. I'm also just going to pop in the chat for you now. Give me a second. I'm just going to pop the link to the Soul Aligned Revolution. That's in the chat for you. So I'm just going to stop my share and just make this bigger so I can see all your beautiful faces. Okay, so, oh, you're welcome, Ross. Thank you for coming. Aditi, so thanks for this masterclass. I'm curious, is there a difference between hypnosis and RTT? Yes. So RTT combines lots of different modalities. So it's a hybrid form of hypnotherapy that combines neurolinguistic programming, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. Most people have heard of that. Regression therapy, psychotherapy, and of course, hypnosis. And really, it was pioneered by an amazing woman called Marissa Peer, who you can have a Google on. She is absolutely amazing. She's like the therapist to the stars. If you've heard of Tony Robbins, she is like the therapist to the stars. And she's worked with some amazing, incredibly successful people. She formulated this RTT method. And now she's obviously mentoring and sharing it with other people. And this is where I've learned this technique. The difference between hypnosis and RTT, and I'm certified in both hypnosis and RTT, the main difference is that RTT uses regression. We go back to the root cause. So there's a lot of exploration around the root cause, and we discuss it. So whereas I know a lot of, the subconscious techniques that maybe like we did on Yes Supply, it's kind of different in a way that we're actually talking about what it is that you're experiencing. So although you go back to scenes, you're not reliving them, you're just reviewing them, and you're in a very safe space with me. And I really, really, truly honor that you're in a safe space to explore them. And so that's the main difference. And in exploring the scene and understanding what the meaning was behind the event, that is the key. That is why it's such a powerful modality. So I hope that answers your question there. Will got to dash, no worries. Thank you so much, Will, for coming. And Jay, you have raised your hand. Let me just see if I can.
Oh yeah, I've unmuted myself.
Yeah, brilliant. Feel free. Go.
I'm getting quite fluent in the Zoom thing because I spend so much time on it now.
Brilliant.
It's not a question. I just, if it's okay with you, I just want to share my experience with everybody, if that's
Yeah,
okay.
of course it is. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Before RTT, and I had a 12-week session with Rebecca. I was the biggest skeptic of things like this that you can imagine. I went through question after question with Rebecca, and she answered every single one of them. And then when I actually did it, I was so shocked and surprised that it was so relaxed, so safe. I felt so safe, more with a sort of 90-minute session with Rebecca than I had done in years and years and years. And when I came out of the session after and this is my very first RTT session with her, and I was walking my dog, I just felt on top of the world, and I could feel that I'd changed inside. And then from then on, and on my journey, even though I don't like that word, and Rebecca knows I don't, but you know, it is a journey, and it really is a journey. I have changed my life absolutely, completely, in every way you can possibly change, and that is my mindset, my health, my financial situation, my focus, dreams that I had as a kid, to the point where I've actually set my own business up. And I recommend this highly. I can't recommend it highly enough, and I can't recommend Rebecca highly enough. It is amazingly phenomenal how it works. And for somebody that kind of, I mean, it's been that long and I've been that busy, I can't even get my hair cut. it it's just kind of worked so well. You put the hard work in, you do the tasks, you get the results, and it is amazing. And my mind took me to some weird and wonderful places, I will tell you that. But don't be frightened of that. Embrace it, drive it, and go with it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jay. I so appreciate you sharing that. That was really, really lovely. And I think it's important to understand that it is deep, very deep, deep healing work that we're doing. And some people will come out of a session and they literally feel like they're on cloud nine, like you did. You literally, and I can physically see the change in them as the session happens, which is so cool. And then other times, you can go through very wobbly stages where, you sometimes feel a bit worse before you get better. And I've had several RTT sessions, and I still have RTT sessions. Whenever I notice something coming up for me, I basically deal with it through RTT and other things. Of course, there's other things, and I'm a big believer in mind, body, and soul. We've got to look at everything. But yes, I think it's important to understand that when you're going through this work, your subconscious mind has held on to those beliefs for many, many, many years. And sometimes it finds it challenging to let go of them. Sometimes it's as easy as straight away. And sometimes, it's like a cumulative effect. So some people will experience results straight away, and other people you'll notice it a few months later. Or you might just look months down the line and look back and go, oh my God, I'm such a different person now. Which I've experienced all three of them. So I think each RTT session can be different depending on what happens. So yeah, one more question from Jay. Yep, go for
Sorry,
it,
I just
Jay.
wanted to add in the toolbox that you give us when we're doing the sessions and things is so useful for when you have, like what you said at the beginning of the masterclass, when where you feel like you've got a roadblock. And
Yeah.
you literally just dive into your toolbox and pick out what's going to work. And if that doesn't work, you pick out something else and that works. And then you can carry on going forward.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is where the group coaching comes into play, or the coaching, like Jay had a 1-to-1 12-week coaching and RTT package. But I think also this is the power of the group and the Facebook group as well, is that everybody gets to kind of share what it is they're experiencing and what's coming up. And different tools will work differently for different people, you know, and I certainly have found some of the subconscious tools work great for me and then others not so much. So I think it's important to find something that works for the individual. So yeah, amazing. So any other questions before I wrap up? I'm so grateful that you're here, and I almost forgot. How could I forget your gift? So if you would like it, there is a free You Are Worthy hypnosis recording, which I am more than happy to share with you. So anybody that would like that, if you just type in the chat, just type the word worthy, and I will make sure that you get a copy. Marvelous. Brilliant. Awesome. So yeah, brilliant. Okay, so let me just take a little copy of that. Fantastic. Well, look, it's been really my pleasure, and I really hope that it's been helpful. I really hope to see you on the Soul Alignment Revolution program. I will drop the link in again for you, just in case you would like to take a look at that. And I wish you all, there you go, there's the link. And I just wish you all the very best day and week, and I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you so much. Appreciate and love you all. So much love and light. Take care. Bye.